Spread out throughout Chicago are dozens of recreational trails that offer cyclists the opportunity to bike in a car-free environment. These trails vary in length, surroundings, and surface type, and each provide a unique riding experience. This video is a list of the top 10 cycling trails in the greater Chicago area. The rankings are based on factors such as trail length, sites along the trail maintenance, and ease with which the trail can be accessed and followed. So sit back and make your plans to get out and ride these trails, and feel free to comment below on your favorite trails in the greater Chicago area. The first trail on this list, and coming in at number 10, is the Salt Creek Trail combined with the trails in Busse Woods. The Salt Creek Trail is a 25-plus mile recreational trail through the western suburbs of Chicago. It follows the meandering path of the Salt Creek, beginning about 14 miles west of downtown Chicago. The Salt Creek Trail was developed over a period of decades and ambitiously aimed to follow the Salt Creek from its connection to the Des Plaines River all the way north to where it is dammed in Busse Woods in north suburban Elk Grove Village. Technically, the Salt Creek Trail can be started at the Chicago Portage National Historic Site at Harlem Avenue and I-55. However, most people access the trail off of 31st Street, just west of Brookfield Zoo. This point contains a zero mileage marker for the Salt Creek Trail. The first 7 or so miles heading west to Oak Brook are excellent while running through forest preserves on a paved surface and along the Salt Creek. This portion is the best portion of the 25-mile trail. It can serve as a great out and back ride of just under 15 miles. The western end of this east to west stretch also connects to Fullersburg Woods, which offer crushed gravel paths around the Salt Creek and Grow Mill. The nearly 20-mile portion of the trail that extends north to Busse Woods is an uneven experience that alternates between surfaces and settings. This portion of the route has been consistently improved over the years as it passes through a series of suburbs, alternating between natural settings, road riding, and trails along busy roads. It can be challenging to navigate, however, the conclusion of the route at the entrance to Busse Woods makes the trip worth it. Busse Woods contains over 12 miles of recreational paths that travel through the forest preserve and around the lakes that were created in the 1960s when dams were created to control the water flow of the Salt Creek. The paths are on an asphalt surface, wide, and there are no busy road crossings. Cumulatively, the Salt Creek Trail and Busse Woods totals nearly 40 miles of biking through a variety of settings and surfaces. The strengths of this trail system are at the southern and northern ends, while the middle portion is an admirable effort at constructing a trail system. The number 9 trail on this list lies entirely in northwest Indiana, the Erie Lackawanna Trail. This trail runs for nearly 18 miles in a southeast direction between Calumet City and Crown Point, Indiana. The trail was built along a former railway line that was abandoned in the 1980s, and the trail now contains interpretive signs that detail the history of this right-of-way. The trail runs through a series of Indiana towns including Hammond, Highland, Griffith, Sherrville, Merrillville, and finally Crown Point. The trail is paved with amenities along the way while running through a mixture of tree-lined stretches, suburbs, parks, and wetlands. The trail connects to the Oak Savannah Trail, which runs east from the Erie Lackawanna, and the Pennsy Greenway, which could be utilized in creating an out-and-back route. The southern trailhead is in Crown Point, which is a charming downtown with a picturesque courthouse in the center of a town square. Getting to this trail from Chicago is a bit of a hike. However, there is bikeable connectivity via the Lakefront Path, the South Lake Shore Drive Extension, and the Wolf Lake Trail. Once to the Erie Lackawanna Trail, riders will be greeted by smooth riding through areas close to Chicago, yet new and unexplored for most Chicagoans. The next trail on this list, and coming in at number 8, is the Old Plank Road Trail. This trail runs for about 22 miles east to west through south suburban Chicago. The trail is a rails to trails path that runs along the former right-of-way of the Joliet and Northern Indiana Railroad. This railroad was established in the second half of the 1800s and ran until the 1970s. After decades of abandonment, it was opened as a recreational trail in 1997. The trail is paved, straight, and flat, and runs through a series of south suburbs, including Chicago Heights, Park Forest, Madison, and Frankfort. Most of the trail is tree-lined and shaded while running through nature areas between the suburbs. It is well marked and very easy to follow, as there are no turns the entire way. There are frequent places to stop for any refueling needs, and a highlight of the trail is at about the halfway point when it runs directly through downtown Frankfort. The trail is well appointed at this point and offers numerous options for dining and refueling. The western end of the trail is just west of downtown Joliet. Taking some time to check out downtown Joliet when at the western end is a perk of the trail. The I&M Canal Trail runs through Joliet and could be combined with a ride on the Old Plank Road Trail. Number 7 on this list is 3 connected trails that run along man-made waterways southwest of Chicago. Individually, these trails would not make this list. However, when combined, they offer over 30 miles of paved trails running along 4 historic waterways. First, the John Husar Trail is accessed via a parking lot adjacent to the Willow Springs City Center. This trail was opened in the mid-2000s and travels in a figure-8 pattern for nearly 9 miles while running along the I&M Canal. Opened in 1848, this canal connected Lake Michigan to the Mississippi River and has been abandoned since 1933. Next, the Centennial Trail opened in the early 2000s and runs along the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal and the Des Plaines River. It extends for over 9 miles and can be accessed at the western end of the Husar Trail. The Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal was opened in 1900, primarily to divert wastewater away from the city of Chicago, and it also served as a modern replacement of the I&M Canal. Finally, the Cal-Sag Trail also begins at the western end of the Husar Trail and runs for nearly 13 miles in a southeast direction along the Cal-Sag Channel. It was opened after 2010 with the goal of extending all the way to the Illinois-Indiana border. The Cal-Sag Channel was opened in 1922, providing a connection between the Calumet River and the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal. All 3 of these canal trails are paved, well-maintained, and easy to follow. There are parking lots at the trailheads, and signage makes the transitions between trails straightforward. Combining the trails adds variety to a ride while also offering interesting views along waterways, beneath steel bridges, and onto unique water features. These trails are also situated in an area with an abundance of riding options. They run adjacent to the Palos Forest Preserves, and the Centennial Trail connects to the I&M Canal Trail and the Veterans Memorial Trail. Number 6 on this list makes a departure from paved trails in favor of a rugged terrain, the Palos Forest Preserves. Located 25 miles southwest of downtown Chicago, the Palos Forest Preserves consist of over 15,000 acres of forest preserves that are lined with trails that run through wooded settings and around numerous lakes and bodies of water. In total, there are 12 color-coded trails that cumulatively offer over 40 miles of riding. The longest of these trails is the Yellow Trail that runs for over 12 miles and forms a loop that more or less spans to each corner of the preserve. Along the way, there are countless intersections with shorter trails that create opportunities for a choose-your-own-adventure type of ride. The trails within the Palos Forest Preserves are not too technical, and a variety of bike types can be used, mountain bikes being most optimal. There are a few steep sections that may require walking the bike for some. However, the terrain is mostly flat, with gradual inclines in sections. The trails are primarily single track and dirt with exposed roots and stone. Therefore, it requires active attention and bike handling throughout the entire ride. The trails are well marked and have maps at intersections so that riders can regularly get a sense of their whereabouts in the overall trail system. There are a few busy road crossings within the system. However, the trails offer an excellent retreat into nature and away from city life. Coming in at number 5 is the longest trail in Chicagoland, the Illinois Prairie Path. Largely a crushed limestone and gravel trail, this 60-plus mile trail runs west of Chicago and takes on a trident shape with 3 branches that each extend out to the Fox River. Established in the 1960s, the Prairie Path was one of the first rails-to-trails routes in the United States. The trail runs along the former Chicago, Aurora, and Elgin rail line that provided service from Chicago to the western suburbs. Biking the Prairie Path brings riders to well over 20 western suburbs, past miles of natural settings, and extends all the way to the beautiful Fox River, a river that is home to a handful of distinct and charming river towns, all connected via the Fox River Trail. The Prairie Path begins 10 miles west of downtown Chicago as one trail heading west for 15 miles. The early miles are asphalt and involve frequent road crossings while running through Maywood, Bellwood, Hillside, and Berkeley. After passing under I-294, the trail enters into Elmhurst and the trail changes to a crushed limestone surface. It is at this point that the identity of the Prairie Path takes shape, with vintage light posts and trees lining the path as it makes its way west. The Prairie Path maintains this vibe as it runs through Villa Park, Lombard, and Glen Ellen. In the suburb of Wheaton, the main stem of the Prairie Path splits in 3 directions. The Aurora branch heads southwest towards Aurora, the Geneva Spur continues directly west to Geneva and St. Charles, and the Elgin branch heads northwest towards Elgin. The 3 branches offer similar riding experiences with crushed limestone surfaces, destinations along the Fox River, and they are all primarily trail riding with occasional street riding that requires some navigation. The 3 branches also provide the opportunity to ride in a loop while incorporating the Fox River Trail. The crushed limestone surface results in a slower and dustier riding experience. However, the long length and abundance of access points makes this an accessible trail for a large percentage of Chicagoland residents. Coming in at number 4 is the Fox River Trail, a river trail that runs for approximately 40 miles and is located 40 miles west of downtown Chicago. This paved trail is in a serene setting and runs through a series of charming river towns that each contain a unique identity and have downtowns directly on the Fox River. The southern terminus of the Fox River is in the town of Oswego, on the east side of the Fox River. The surface is asphalt and the trail extends north along the Fox River. The trail offers near constant views of the river and frequently crosses bridges onto islands and changes from one side of the river to the other. There are countless parks and nature areas along the way, and there's a distinct feel that it lies beyond Chicagoland. The trail runs through the towns of Aurora, Batavia, Geneva, St. Charles, Elgin, and East Dundee. Each of these downtowns has its own distinct identity and are worth getting off the trail to explore the different things that they each offer. The Fox River Trail comes to an end in Algonquin. However, it seamlessly links up with the McHenry County Prairie Trail at this point. This trail travels over 25 miles further north until reaching the Wisconsin border. The McHenry County Prairie Trail has many nice stretches, however, oftentimes runs adjacent to busy roads and is broken up when running through Crystal Lake. The trail switches to crushed gravel after the small town of Ringwood and also links up with the Hebron Trail before reaching the Wisconsin border. The Fox River Trail requires travel for Chicagoland residents. However, those that ride it will be rewarded with a mini vacation to a natural setting that passes through unique towns that are sure to impress. Coming in at number 3 on this list is another unpaved trail in an exclusively natural setting, the Des Plaines River Trail. Spanning over 53 miles from the west side of Chicago to the Illinois-Wisconsin border, the Des Plaines River Trail brings riders far away from the urban world and goes through a plethora of natural habitats, including woodlands, wetlands, and prairies. The trail follows the winding path of the Des Plaines River while passing through over 24 forest preserves, across countless bridges, and past natural settings that seem to change with every mile. The trail offers a variety of surfaces while regularly changing between dirt, stone, crushed gravel, and concrete. The southern trailhead can be accessed off of North Avenue and First Avenue in suburban Maywood. The first half of the Des Plaines River Trail runs through Cook County and generally has more rustic settings and rougher riding surfaces. This can be a pro or a con depending on one's perspective. The northern section of the trail begins when crossing Lake Cook Road. This half of the trail goes through Lake County and is more maintained and contains smoother riding surfaces. The Des Plaines River Trail is mostly easy to follow. There are a handful of busy streets to cross, and there are a few areas in which street riding is necessary to get from one section to another. One downside of the Des Plaines River Trail is that it is prone to flooding after heavy rains. Street underpasses can become flooded, and surfaces can become too muddy to ride. Therefore, this trail is best ridden in drier spells. Given the natural setting of the trail, there are a lack of refueling options and amenities along the trail, especially in the Cook County portion. For an optimal experience, riders should embrace the natural setting of the trail and understand that the ride will be in nature and that it won't always be smooth pedaling. The reward will be many wildlife sightings and a surprising variety of settings while following the Des Plaines River. Coming in at number 2 is the North Branch Trail, which is situated in a forested oasis that begins about 10 miles northwest of downtown Chicago. The trail follows the north branch of the Chicago River for nearly 20 miles till its terminus at the Chicago Botanical Gardens. Along the way, the trail is almost exclusively in a forested setting, frequently along waterways, and the riding surface is a mix of smooth asphalt and concrete. Trail map signs are abundant, and following the trail is fairly easy. The trail is mostly flat, with the exception of a few overpasses that entail steep ascents, followed by descents. While the trail provides for long stretches of car-free riding, there are numerous street crossings that require care and a wait for traffic lights to allow for a crossing. There is a posted speed limit of 15 miles per hour, and the traffic on the trail is almost evenly split between bikers, walkers, and joggers. Therefore, the trail is not well suited for faster biking. While the trail does not go through any residential neighborhoods, it does pass through a series of suburbs including Niles, Morton Grove, Northfield, Glencoe, and Skokie. A unique feature of the trail lies on the northern end where the Skokie Lagoons are situated. These 7 interconnected pools were man-made in the 1930s as part of the Civilian Conservation Corps project. They were formed by damming up the Skokie River and have since formed an impressive natural setting that now serves many recreational uses. The trail forms a loop around the Skokie Lagoons, which is a nice feature when riding the North Branch Trail in an out-and-back fashion. A final perk of the North Branch Trail is the fact that the Chicago Botanic Gardens lie at the very northern end of the trail. The Botanic Gardens are situated in land owned by the Forest Preserve District of Cook County, and they are open to the public. Riding through requires no admission or registration and is worthwhile when riding the North Branch Trail. The award for the top trail in all of Chicago goes to the most popular and well-known trail in the region, the Chicago Lakefront Path. The Lakefront Path offers 17.5 miles of car-free riding, and its location on the lakefront provides for great views at all times and nearly no intersections to cross throughout this entire span. The path has a smooth concrete surface that is easy to ride, it is very well maintained, and there are amenities and fueling options along the entire ride. In addition to the lake views, the ride goes through park-like settings on the north side and south side of downtown Chicago. The middle portion of the path through the downtown area of Chicago passes by countless interesting buildings and points of interest. There are also unlimited things to check out and explore within steps of the Lakefront Path. Another great aspect of the Lakefront Path is that the views while heading north are completely different from the views while heading south. The downtown skyline takes on different shapes depending on the direction with which it is viewed. Therefore, the views when riding the path out and back will change with the direction being traveled. The main downside of the Lakefront Path is that it could get very crowded. Despite separate paths for cyclists, the downtown and north side sections can become packed with riders of all different levels and become very chaotic. The south side of the trail will always be less crowded, and avoiding the trail on weekends and later in the afternoon will result in less crowded riding conditions. While most Chicagoans have ridden the Lakefront Path more times than they can remember, the riding experience never gets old, and the sights along the way are quintessential Chicago and worth regular return rides. I hope this list has inspired you to make a plan to get on and bike on some or all of these trails awaiting Chicagoland riders. Cumulatively, they will bring you to every corner of the Chicagoland region and offer all types of riding. You will be rewarded with some exercise, some time outdoors, and great sights along the way.